Hello and welcome to this introduction video to Nautil, which is a plugin-based artifact build system for production pipelines. Um, so the problem is that most of the time when you build some project for production and you don't have usual tools or existing pipelines like Gradle or setup tools for Python, there is obviously more, or Cargo, etc. You hit quickly a wall because it becomes tricky when you are starting to manually zip folders, copy pasting files, and just pray that you didn't forget to update a version number in some file. And you add to that the constraint of building some slightly different build for each release, because you might have different targets. It quickly becomes hell to manage and very prone to human error. And most of the time you just end up creating a script for that, but if you need to slightly modify anything, it becomes complicated and it creates just technical debt in a project you didn't need even uh, that much tech. So let me introduce you to Nautil, which is answering all those problems. So for this presentation, I will just show one of the project of my Minecraft team. We are creating Minecraft maps on, and we have this issue of publishing artifacts of our maps for multiple publishers, but each of the publisher has different requirements, and we need to adapt our builds for that. And obviously, we want to do that not by hand, but automate it. So here, you just have some context. I just have a folder with some generic assets that I use for different maps. And in this map folder, I just pasted like the map that I have from our server. Like I just downloaded it. This folder is empty, and I just have so as a requirements, I just use these. So Nautil is the main one, and Nautil is plugin based, so you can add multiple ones. Alone, Nautil doesn't have that much functions. You need at least Nautil utils or redevelop your own Nautil utils, which is totally possible. Like it's made to be modular. That's the point here. And Nautil MC, which is a plugin by my team that we use especially for Minecraft-oriented tasks. So this file is a bit long, but we will just break it down and you will see that it's very easy. In terms of execution, it's pretty simple. I just have this definition file, and I just created the script. So I just execute the script, and it will automatically build it. Go through the different steps, and automatically output it in the dist folder. So as you can see here, I have three different targets outputs. I have one which is public for anyone. I have one for Mapverse, and I have one for Minecraft Streams. And I have a duplicate for that, so I have the map and the resource pack. So for each of them, so it's three targets with two artifacts per target, which made quite complicated the way to actually implement a normal script, like just a random script that I would have written on the fly. About the script itself, you will see it's very simple. So the workspace environments, like it creates virtual workspace environments for you, which are called artifacts. So to instantiate an artifact, you just declare artifact, and you can pass into this artifact an environment. An environment is just a dictionary like this one, where you can put variables. So like your .env environment. That's very similar. And so I'm using it to pass variables, and you can see that in the different artifacts I use env, and I create env base. So I will just this notation is just to modify the target base, but you use the env. So it will use all of that, but target will be modified. So target and artifact are used only for logs, but that's just for that. And I define different things. I will go through. You can see that I use templates. So basically, we're using a dollar sign and then a name variable. When you pass it through some specific functions, you can, like, it's templated and it's replaced by the value. If you go into the documentation, like the plugins documentation, you will see that there is a templated flag. It means that if you input a string into that argument, it will try to complete the template. So it permits to have like some logic per artifact, which is quite powerful. So we are building the base, and for the base, so when you have an artifact, then on this artifact you can do different things. By default, an artifact is empty, and you use the use method to add content to that artifact. The use method takes as input a source, and by default, source is just an interface. You need to use different sources from different plugins. But utils, like the utils plugin, has already some really great sources to get started with, which are namely local source, git source, and artifact source. So local source permits to take directly a source from a local folder. For example, here my source like src/map/shelves. So I defined it here. And Git permits you to take directly an input from GitHub or GitLab or whatever is your Git host. But it will pull a Git repository. And it permits you to have like the latest version. It actually supports more than that. Like you can specific commit, branch, depths, etc. Like there is few things you can tweak. And the last one is artifact source. It might be the most important because it is used to actually use an artifact as a source into another artifact. So you can build the first artifact and then automatically use this first artifact into another artifact. That's what I do here. I create a base stuff which is common to my 3 targets, which I call base, and then I just try to so I create the data pack. I create the resource pack, so there is already some modification. So each method is a modification, basically. Each modification are called actions in Nautil. So it's you can create your own actions, but the different plugins already provide you some of the actions that you might need. So for example, in the resource pack, I will just use the resource pack, filter using this filter here. So it's actually like a git ignore, but the file is called packignore. So it will remove all files contained in packignore. Then I will remove any file besides pack.mcmeta and assets. And then I will set the version into the MC meta so it's visible directly to the user. So it's very helpful for us because when people report to us issues, we can directly ask them the version and they have like the clear version and the version of the build, which is very important. And then we minify everything to have the minimum to take the minimal space. And finally, we use another source, which is SRN. SRN is just the acronym of Surena. So it just takes the different the logo. So here we take the 64 by 64, the 64 logo, and we pass it as pack.png into the artifact. So right now, at this stage, there is no output made. And that's really important to understand that an artifact by default doesn't produce any output. If I want to output something from an artifact, I need to use .output. I can output at multiple times. Like I could do dot output, dot something, and finally dot output again. That's possible. That's totally possible. That's something I can do. So maybe I will need to rename it with a different name. Otherwise, it will just override the first one. But that's something possible. So yeah, you need to output things to make them appear in the dist3 directory. Besides that, I will not go through all the different stuff, especially because there is some Minecraft related stuff which might not be relevant. But the main point is that you can just go through the documentation and see all the, especially in utils, like there is already plenty of actions that you can have, like remove empty files, execute Python file within the artifact. You can create files, you can remove files, etc. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. So for that, we prepare the base map and then we create our output. For that, you can create sub-methods, like or actual functions, like here. And the point of creating functions is that you can create parameters specific to your version and also pass the whole environment at once. It can be quite useful. So this is the final output. So that's basically where the whole project forks between the base. So the base is common to all three, but we might need to do specific modifications to specific maps or artifacts here. So for the resource pack, you can see that it's the same for the three. We don't perform modification, like on this specific map, we don't perform modifications on the artifact after the base. So I just need to output it 3 times. And that's all. Just with a different target name at each time. And for the map, it's a bit more complicated because there is some specific stuff. So for example, for realms, realms requires us to have all the data packs unzipped. And so Nautil-MC provides this action, which is called data pack zip format, which forces the format. So actually, we use it a bit above here to force all the data packs to be unzipped. But here we reuse it only if there is not zip data packs, which is set to false only in the realms production. And it will just unzip all the files. And basically, it's everything it's that for everything. Here we pass some values directly in game because in our data packs, so in the scripting system of Minecraft, there is things that we enable only when there is those flags. Like those here are flags that we check and we adapt the gameplay based on those flags. So it permits us to test it directly in game and override it while in production, while compiling for production. And here that's the same. That's just like passing the raw data. And finally, there is also like if we want to bundle the resource pack inside the map, there is only for the normal users, like for the public version, that we actually want to do that. So we bundle it as resources.zip. And that's pretty much all. The only last thing I could talk about is that you can choose to output things as a directory or as a zip, which is quite useful when you want to debug anything, to just be able to directly open the files as a folder, even if you deliver it as a zip. The point of the tool is that here it's not the case, but basically you can automatically deploy your zips and your folders after the execution of this script because the execution is purely linear. So after that, like you can just retrieve the artifacts from here and upload them directly. So yeah, as I mentioned, for example, in maps, in public, I have resources.zip, and in realms, I don't have it. There is multiple things like that, like the map is renamed, but you can see, like if I do a small comparison, that the map before and the map after in any of them is much cleaner, and it's very helpful. Thank you for watching, and I hope you will have a lot of fun using Nautil and that it will be helpful to you. And don't hesitate to contribute and add your own plugins to Nautil, and you can contribute to the different repos and deploy your own plugin separately and put your documentation directly into the main documentation. Bye bye!